Hello and welcome to the Aligned Sacred Alchemy podcast. I'm your host, Rasprit Sagu, and as a woman of color, I understand only too well the unique challenges that we face in our manifesting journey, which are often bypassed in the mainstream teachings. In this space, we're going to be exploring the role of cultural imprinting, ancestral wisdom, societal expectations, and the impact of all of that on our manifestation process. And of course, I'll be sprinkling in the magic that's available when we understand and harness our energy using things like human design and astrology so we can manifest in alignment with our true essence and our purpose here on earth. Gear up for the revolution and get ready to manifest in and on purpose. Hi and welcome, wonderful people. Today we're going to be diving into a topic that's going to leave you feeling inspired, empowered, and ready to unleash your unique manifesting blueprint. This is something I have previously only shared exclusively with my clients, but I feel like this needs to be addressed once and for all. And I'm just going to call a spade a spade. Manifesting has become this buzzword in mainstream culture. But the traditional techniques, the things like law of attraction, the secret, the normal visualization and all of that, they failed an entire section of the population, namely people of color. And it's high time we shed light on how mainstream manifesting teachings don't always work well for people of color because they've bypassed our lived experiences, our internalized shame, and the oppression that we face within our own individual cultures and from the wider community. And as usual, I'm going to be sprinkling in some magic and literally walk you through the steps that I use in my own life and with my clients to intentionally craft a manifesting framework that works for the individual using my favorite energy languages of human design and astrology. So buckle up, because today I'm going to be sharing with you why popular manifesting techniques may not be working for people of color. I want to share how you can integrate human design and astrology for personalized manifesting by uncovering your gifts, wounds, and your soul's purpose. And stay tuned for some practical tips for leveraging your natural energy in your daily life and in your daily manifesting practices. We're also going to be challenging some societal norms and expectations and helping you to embrace authenticity so you can rewrite the manifesting narrative and create a life of empowerment. All right, my conscious creators, let's talk about why all those popular manifesting techniques don't always hit the mark for brown women. Now, don't get me wrong. I love a good mindset shift and positive affirmations as much as the next person. But here's the thing. Those techniques often fail to account for the deeper wounds that we carry, the ones that come from internalized depression, patriarchy, misogyny. And look, I've been there too. I followed the law of attraction. I've done the visualizations. I've read The Secret cover to cover and done everything it says in there. I've recited affirmations until I felt like a self-help jukebox. But something was missing. I was bypassing those deeper wounds, sweeping them under the rug, hoping that they would magically disappear. Newsflash, they don't. So what's the solution? How can we create a manifesting framework that genuinely honors our experiences and leads us to our life's purpose? Well, my friends, that's where your human design chart and astrology come in. It's like having your own cosmic GPS guiding you towards the most authentic, aligned manifestations. Picture this. You pull up your astrology chart and you discover the unique cosmic energies that influenced your birth. You uncover your strengths, your challenges, and even get a glimpse into your soul's purpose. And then you turn to your human design chart like a treasure map, leading you into your unique manifesting framework. It's like a cosmic power-up for your manifesting game. Easy peasy lemon squeezy, right? Now, I know what you're thinking because after years of consuming all the information I could find about my human design and astrology, I was thinking the same. Even though I was familiar with the fact that the astrology chart can help you know certain things about your life, know about certain energies and how they're influencing and affecting you, and how your human design chart is like that treasure map and you can find all this various different information in there, I just didn't understand how to put it all together and translate it into an actual real life situation. Like, what do I do in real time when I'm having an argument with someone? What do I do in real time when I feel stuck, when my nervous system's triggered, and all the other things that come up when you are on this path, on this transformational journey? Because it's one thing to learn about all the concepts and quite another to apply them into your real life, and even harder to understand how to integrate them into your manifesting framework. That is, until you have spent a few years experimenting, like I had to do. But who has years to spend waiting around for something to happen? Well, I was forced to do that. Because I, unlike you, didn't have someone else who had already been there, done that, giving me this information. I wish I knew what I'm about to share with you in this podcast episode all those years ago. So, luckily for you, I've done all of that waiting around, learning, experimenting, failing, and I can share my experience and learning with you. So, you don't have to wait around. You don't have to do all the things. You don't have to fail at all the things that I did and go through all the frustrations. You get to sidestep all of that drama and just go straight for the jugular and hit the ground running with your manifestations. Okay, so now you're probably thinking, all right, Ras, cut to the chase. How can this be customized just for me? And trust me, my friend, it's all about you, your desires, your quirks, and your dreams. It's about releasing the idea that there's this one size fits all manifesting technique that's supposed to work for everyone. We're done with that, okay? Instead, I want you to get into a new energy and invite a new possibility, one where you intentionally craft a custom framework that works specifically for you. And I know this sounds a bit repetitive, but there's a reason for this, and you'll see as I'm going on what that is. But guess what? This isn't some magical airy fairy theory about setting your intentions, visualizing your dreams, and radiating positivity that leaves you questioning everything and has you vibing high to attract your desires, which frankly is a concept that really needs to be put to bed because it doesn't work for everyone. In my experience, it doesn't work well for people of color and those who have been conditioned to compromise for the sake of their families. People who have had to conform to societal expectations for the sake of honor and respect. And for those who fear rejection if they go against the grain, if they dare to do things differently. And that's not even all of the internalized depression and shame that I see when I'm working with clients from especially the brown community. It's just a few common examples. Do you recognize yourself in any of those? Take a moment to think about your upbringing and culture. What restrictions did you face in your life? What were you encouraged to do? What was expected of you so that you could be deemed in good standing within your community? All of these things are going to give you some clues about where your internalized oppression and shame might lie. There's this cultural paradigm of people pleasing within the brown community and sacrificing your dreams, which can suffocate your true essence and hinder your ability to manifest your desires. And I find that the traditional manifesting methods can create pressure, more pressure, especially in people of color. And in some ways, for a lot of brown women that I speak to, pressure is almost like this comforting presence because it feels familiar. I mean, how many times have you found yourself saying, I work well under pressure? Maybe you have an assignment due in and you get your best work done right at the last minute. Maybe you make the best food when you have to quickly throw a bunch of whatever you have lying around in the kitchen because unexpected guests have turned up and you got to feed them. Or maybe you were compared to your cousins when you were growing up, and even now maybe, and the pressure was on to perform well in exams, to learn how to cook, to get married, to have kids, to buy your own home. If you're a brown person listening to this, I know you know what I mean. For so many of us, pressure can feel like an old friend that motivates and sustains you to do better. From my own personal experiences and from talking to friends and clients, what I clearly see is that brown women have felt the pressure to achieve success through traditional paths. We've been told to conform, follow predefined roles, and hide our true selves to fit into society's expectations. Yet, despite our efforts, success still seems out of reach. There's always another goal, they're always changing the goalposts. It's a conditioned response that seems to be the default setting for most brown women. So, is it any wonder that people don't tend to question what they're being told by the people in authority, which in this case are the experts, the coaches, the healers, the people on social media who are swearing that they went from rags to riches just by using the principles of The Secret and the law of attraction? No, because it's much easier to question yourself and criticize your own efforts than it is to believe that maybe you know better for you. For generations, you've been led to believe that there's always someone else who knows better, an outer authority, an elder in your society, an elder in the family, a teacher. And you must follow what's always been done because you don't know any better. And the fear that's instilled in our culture for going against the norm. The impact on your reputation if you do that thing that you want to do, which isn't the done thing. The impact on your family's honor or their respect in the community. The punishments from God for not following the rules. All of that stuff. It makes it easier to stay stuck where you are, using the traditional methods of manifesting without questioning and staying in this loop of putting all your energy and effort and money into things that don't work, and then blaming and gaslighting yourself for it and building up that internal shame, guilt, and self-resentment. And it's this endless loop that you just keep going round and round and round in. This tired approach to manifesting is what I want to eliminate. It's what's making so many brilliant people hustle to be positive, to change their mindset, to heal their wounds, rather than being in the energy of creation and activating the possibilities. So it's time to question these narratives and redefine our own path. And just to be clear, if it's working for you, if the traditional old school manifesting methods are working for you, keep doing them. But if they're not, lean in and consider what I'm sharing with you today. Because what I'm proposing isn't some out there woo-woo magic, although it may feel like that, it may seem like that, but it's actually grounded in real, tangible wisdom. Practical magic is what I love to call it. It's about integrating the cosmic forces of astrology and the energetic blueprint of human design into your manifesting practice and connecting all of that with your lived experiences, with your cultural imprinting, with your heritage, with your lifestyle as it is now, and the lifestyle that you wish to create. Now, just take a deep breath. Just notice where you're holding tension in your body, if your jaw's holding tension, if your tongue is, if your muscles are, and just take a deep breath in and release. As you release and let go of all that tension, let everything that I've said just sink in. And imagine the relief of knowing it's not you. There's nothing wrong with you, boo. It's the limitations of all those mainstream techniques that have failed to address the unique challenges that you're facing. And it's not because there's something wrong with you. It's not because you don't want it enough. It's not because you're not doing it right or you're not doing it enough. It may just be that those techniques that you've been using are just not cut out for you. But fear not, my friend, because you're here and I've got your back. So here's my invitation. Go and find out your human design type and get a copy of your astrology chart. And I'm going to be sharing with you what exactly it is that you need to do after you've done this. What I'll do is I'll leave some free resources for you in the show notes where you can grab all this information from the internet without paying a penny. And once you have this, What I'm inviting you to do is start to familiarize yourself with your unique energy. There are plenty of free resources online, but if you would like a little bit more help with that, you can book in a private session with me, details of which I will share later on. But really, the point of this is to start familiarizing yourself with your energy and asking yourself these questions. What are your gifts? What are your core wounds? What is your purpose? What naturally motivates you? How do people perceive you based on the energy that you naturally radiate? How does your intuition work for you? And you can extract this information from your human design chart and your astrology chart. Then you're going to start linking this to your current challenges with what you wish to manifest. And asking questions like, where can you utilize your gifts to overcome those challenges? Where are your core wounds? And by core wounds, I mean we're all born with some wounds that are so deep. They can be generational wounds, they can be things that are inherited, they can be family genetic wounds, they can be wounds from past lifetimes that you're bringing forward into this lifetime. And really, they're the kind of wounds that will still keep surfacing time and time again, no matter how much healing that you've done. All right, so where are your core wounds? And how can you harmonize and work with those core wounds? Because the fact is, they might just always be there. They may just always be running in the background for you. So it's not about completely coming to a healing moment where you just completely eliminate them altogether. It's about, how do I work with my core wounds? How can I neutralize the energy and the emotional charge and the nervous system activation that is activated by these core wounds? And that's where you start looking at maybe somatic tools to help with nervous system regulation. It could be breath work, it could be dance or movement, it could be Reiki, whatever that may look like for you. And then the third stage is to translate this information into your daily manifesting practices. What are the real life things that you can be doing to support your energy signature, your natural gifts, where you're already equipped to shine and be successful? What are the habits that you may need to let go of? What are the new habits that you need to build and strengthen? How can you change your surroundings, your physical surroundings, your emotional surroundings, your energetic surroundings to support you and your unique way of creating, to support your energy flow? How can you nourish yourself in your physical environment to help with that creative flow? Who are the people that complement your energy? And you're going to get to know this information as you find out more about your energy, but not just find out more, not just read more, but actually integrate this into your everyday living, the food that you're eating, the people that you're interacting with. When you are asking for that job promotion, when you're meeting someone for that date, like this all comes into your in real life situations, your day-to-day things. You're going to want to pay attention to the people that complement your energy and can contribute to your healing and with co-creating your desires, because some of these desires that you have are not meant to be you doing it on your own. They're meant to be done via collaboration. Who are those collaborators? The ones that complement your energy and who also wish to be a part of that manifestation. And this isn't on a conscious level. They may not be aware, they may not even be aware what you're manifesting, but they might be manifesting someone like you and they become part of your manifestation. So it's, how can you call these people in through your energetic signature? All right. And this information you find like a treasure map from your human design. You extract the information from there, and then you go over to your astrology and you look at the energetic influences that are going on in your life, the current transits, and all of those things, how it's affecting you, where your life purpose lies, all of this information, and you start to weave this tapestry, and you're going to start to get a really clear picture of how you function. This is like an operating manual for you It's that manual you wish you had right from the beginning of this is how you work, this is how you manifest, this is how you create success, this is how you create harmonious relationships, this is how you love, this is how you attract love, this is how you create wealth, this is how you create stability and safety in your life. Like all the bits and pieces, you're gonna start to see them. So go away, study your chart, study what you need to study, and contemplate over this. And in time, you're going to start to see your customized manifesting framework reveal itself to you. Now, am I saying you will never need to do any healing or mindset work or any of the traditional manifesting? No, I'm not. I absolutely still do that with my clients. I absolutely still do all of that with myself. But what you're going to notice is everything shifts, the energy shifts, the energy with which you're approaching it is going to shift. Sometimes you don't even need to do the mindset work because you're working on a much deeper level. Your mind is just like, it's just a cherry on the top. It's not even required. And usually when I work with clients, what I tend to see is when they're doing this, when they start to understand this about themselves and they start to understand how they actually function, how they actually operate, what energy actually lifts them, what sustains them, what nourishes them. Once they become familiar with that, the mindset happens naturally. The mindset shifts that you're spending hours doing your affirmations, which actually I used to. So no shade on you if you're doing that right now. I used to do all of this, guys. So there's no shade or no judgment here because I've been there and I've done that and I've bought the t-shirt and I've come out the other side. So where I used to spend all that time, all that effort, all that energy, all that money on session after session after session to heal this and to fix this mindset thing and to instill this new belief and recite these affirmations this many times so I can be positive, or write out my gratitude list so I can attract more and the law of attraction can work for me. All of that will happen, but you don't have to spend the hours. So what you're doing is you're optimizing your time, guys. You're optimizing your manifesting framework. And right now, I've said this time and time again. I've said it before to my clients. I will say it till the day I die. Manifesting is no longer about what it used to be. Right now, it's about optimization. Right now, it's no longer about the visualization and the all the other bits and pieces, like having your fancy vision boards and doing your clearings and doing all of that kind of stuff. It is about how do you optimize what you're already working with without having to change a goddamn thing about yourself before you can call in that desire. You can manifest in your hot mess era. Let me tell you that. I say it always, and I'm going to say it again. You can manifest when you're at your lowest. You don't have to delay your manifestations until you achieve this perfect state of being zen and being positive all the time and having the most positive mindset and never being angry with anyone, never getting triggered by anyone. Because let's face it, if you're human and you're living on this planet right now at this time, you're going to be triggered by people. You're going to feel fear. You're never going to really be able to eliminate that, not truthfully. Maybe on a surface level, maybe you might be able to fake yourself or kid yourself into thinking that you have eliminated the fear. But the fear is actually what's required. And this is what it's about, is finding this balance of living in that paradigm where you can have the fear and you can deal with it in a way that you get to leverage it rather than be afraid of the fear and perpetuate more fear and more lack. Do you see what I mean? And you can absolutely go out and do this work on your own. There are many free resources. There are many books that are available where you can educate yourself. And I would invite you to use your intuition. There is a lot of stuff out there about human design, about astrology, people talking about it who don't actually understand, or they're misconstruing the concepts. And I completely trust you, and you should trust yourself to use your intuition to go to the places that you feel called to, the people that you feel called to. the books that you feel drawn to, all right? And trust that. So it's totally possible to go and do this on your own. And I'll share my own experience. I was doing it on my own for a long, long time. And when I was doing it on my own, I was overwhelmed. I was confused. There is a lot of jargon, and it just was like literally used to hurt my brain with all the information, both with human design and with astrology. So for me, I found it very helpful to go and find that support. I relied on my intuition to lead me to the right people, to the right resources. And then I just experimented. I started to apply those things in my real life. And this can take some time. It's taken me a good 4 to 5 years. This is 4 or 5 years of both studying and being in my experiment of looking at how I work, how I'm designed to work, what motivates me, what environment is good for me, and experimenting with all these things, experimenting with changing my environment, experimenting with the kind of collaborations that I'm doing. It's all trial and error, okay? Nobody knows the actual thing. Let me just say something. All of this is made up, right? Coaching is made up. Healing is made up. They're all made up concepts. Someone once in hundreds of thousands of years ago had a brainwave and said, oh, let's do this healing thing. Oh, let's do this human design and this modality or that modality. But they're all made up concepts. Nobody really knows for sure, right? So this is what I want you to understand, is that I can share my experience with you. You can make your own decisions. But what I do recommend that you do is sit with your own intuition. Your intuition is never going to lead you in the wrong way for you. Never. Okay? So just trust yourself more than you trust anyone else, and you will be led to where you're supposed to go. As an add-on to this, even though I absolutely stand by the fact that you can absolutely do this on your own, because hello, I kind of had to for the first few years, and here I am. But what I do know for sure is that this work is so much easier in community. And again, I speak from lived experience. When I was doing it on my own, I was overwhelmed. When I was in community with other people, it was so much easier. And it was actually quite nice to be able to share your experience and connect with other people. And here's another thing that I know for sure is that this kind of thing is much easier in community. Healing happens in community. It doesn't happen on your own. Okay, as an example, when you heal the wound of, say, boundaries, you're never going to know whether you've healed those if you're sitting alone at the top of the Himalayas, isolated completely from anyone else, right? You're only going to know if that healing has happened, has occurred, when you're interacting with other people who are pushing your boundaries, right? So healing never ever happens on your own. It happens in community. Humans are designed for connection. We each have energy that is lacking within our blueprints and also energy that activates others. And this will become really clear to you when you go away and have a look at your charts. One thing that has become crystal clear from my own journey and experience is how being connected with people who can activate your energy in the correct way, because they're living in alignment and they are making decisions that are correct for them. When you're connected to that kind of energy, it makes things so much easier. There's so much more flow, there's less resistance, and you become part of something where you are valued, where you feel like you belong. And that is exactly why I created Translate. This is the exact work that we do in Translate. I love Translate. It's like a family away from family. I love the energy within that group. So if you're pulled to doing this work at a slower pace, with guidance, if all of this seems overwhelming and you're like, oh my God, I don't know what to do, or I've seen my chart and what's next, I'm finding it really confusing, and you would just like a slower pace with a little bit of guidance and coaching, then join us in Translate. The link's in the show notes. You're going to love it. And if you'd rather have like this short, potent dose of magic, you just want to get going, you just want a little spark of inspiration and guidance to customize your manifesting framework, I have a very limited one-to-one sessions that you can book with me right now. Since coming back from my maternity, I find that I no longer have the time that I used to have, the luxury of the time and the peace and the quiet that I used to have. So my one-to-one slots are limited availability, but I do have some, and I release them on a monthly basis. So you can check in and book in a session with me if that feels good to you. Either way, whether it's a one-to-one session or within the Translate community, we're going to work together. We'll extract the juiciest insights from your astrology chart and your human design and design a roadmap that leads you straight to your manifestations. So I will share those links in the show notes. But for now, I invite you to go away and reflect on everything that I've said in this podcast. And as always, reach out to me, share your insights and your light bulb moments. When you go away and discover your human design or your astrology, let me know what your design type is. Let me know what your top 3 signs are. What's your sun sign, what's your moon sign, and what's your rising or ascendant sign? Let me know. DM me. I mostly hang out on Instagram, so feel free. You can just reach out and DM me on there. Or you can drop me an email at info@divinesacredsoul.com. Again, I'll link that in the show notes for ease. But that's all for now, folks. Stay tuned for more insights because this is a topic that is so vast, and I'm going to be sharing more and going deeper into the astrology side of things, the human design side of things, and also keeping in mind the considerations of a person of color so that you can tailor your healing journey, your transformational journey to your lived experiences and towards your self-discovery and liberation. Let's break free from the limitations our culture has projected on us and the limitations of an outdated manifesting model that needs a desperate update to work for people of color. And let's create a life filled with empowerment, authenticity, and creativity. Here's to your creations. Happy creations, folks, and I'll see you next time. I hope you found inspiration in our conversation. And if you did enjoy the podcast, you'd love my email community, where I share regular doses of magic and tips that honor your culture, connects you with your unique manifesting style, and uncovers those juicy tips that often go unaddressed in the mainstream manifesting narrative. And I have a special gift if you sign up now. My free creative blueprint shadows guide, where you learn how to identify and alchemize shadows that block your desires and unlock their transformative power. Many have reported they experienced deep healing and overcame blocks to actualize their heartfelt desires with the understanding they found from this guide. The link's in the show notes if this is calling to you. Until next time, happy creating.